If you're a UK buyer thinking about purchasing property here in Spain, pay careful attention because many British buyers make the same mistakes, and it isn't because they're being careless, it's because they're making the assumption that the property buying process here in Spain works the same as it does in the UK, and particularly after Brexit, some of those assumptions can work out to be very expensive. Now, if you're moving from Britain into a Schengen area lifestyle system, you need to understand that property rules, residency rules and tax rules are all very different. Now, some of these risks are not criminal scams, but they can feel very much like one when the financial impact appears later down the line. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through 10 property risks that particularly affect UK buyers in Spain. And I want you to pay particular attention to the first one because it's the one that causes the most early financial stress. If you're going to remember only one thing from this video, remember this. In the UK, property purchases are typically subject to contracts. However, here in Spain, early purchase agreements can be much more binding. Now, many UK buyers seem to have this idea that they can send a reservation deposit and then if they change their mind, simply withdraw it later, and typically that just isn't the case. So before transferring any money, there's several things that you need to confirm. Firstly, is the deposit going to be held in escrow or is it held by the seller? Are there any conditions that actually allow for a refund of deposit? Make sure and check and make sure if there are that it's in the contract. Thirdly, make sure that you get independent review by a lawyer before you even consider sending any payment. And then lastly, what is the legal registration status of the property? So in short, what I'm trying to say is never treat early property negotiations here in Spain as informal, because if you do, it could cost you thousands of pounds. Next is the gift that keeps on giving, and of course that is Brexit. Now, some UK buyers believe that buying a property here in Spain allows for long-term living, and that isn't correct. After Brexit, UK passport holders are usually limited to 90 days within any 180-day period in Spain, unless residency is obtained. Now, buying a property here in Spain doesn't automatically grant residency rights. So if you're thinking about long-term relocation, the best step you can do is to decide your immigration route before purchasing. Okay, let's talk pound notes, because moving money from pounds into euros to buy your property here in Spain can seriously affect the purchase cost. And to put that into some sort of context, a 2% exchange movement on £300,000 can cost you, what, 6k? That's 6,000 of your own hard-earned money. Now, many UK buyers, they just go straight to the high street bank without even thinking about comparing exchange providers. Specialist foreign exchange services are able to do many things that typical high street banks can't. They'll do rate locking, target rate alerts and lower international transfer costs. So small planning in this area can seriously protect large capital. Now, if you're going to be selling UK assets to fund your Spanish property purchase, consider the timing of your residency. And the reason I say this is because once you become a tax resident in Spain, typically your worldwide income is open to taxation. So there's several important considerations to include. One is the double taxation agreement between the UK and Spain. Secondly is when you actually want your tax residency to begin. And thirdly is the timing of both capital gains or pension withdrawal. So in short, tax planning should support, not rush any property purchase decisions. Now, one of the most important safety decisions you can make if you're purchasing property here in Spain is independent legal representation. Now, in Spain, typically estate agents work primarily for the seller, the same as they do in the UK, but practices may vary. So go out and find your own lawyer, not one that's recommended by the agent or by the seller, but find one that you feel happy with. A good lawyer here in Spain should check land registry records, planning permissions, existing property debts and community fee arrears. But this is one of the most essential steps in the property buying purchase because it's your safety net. Okay, off-plan property sales are booming here in Spain, or at least on the Costa del Sol. Now, some developments will promote off-plan property purchases using urgency tactics. So I'm talking things such as they'll guarantee rental income, they'll talk about rapid price appreciation or limited time pricing. And of course, the truth is, property value growth is never guaranteed. So If you're thinking about an off-plan purchase, before doing any kind of commitment, check the developer's financial history. Now, I'm not saying all developers are bad, I'm not saying that at all, I'm simply trying to protect you. But over my 20 odd years here, I've seen it time and time again where developers will put a new apartment block together. The second it's sold, they'll go bust, and then they'll just reappear a few months or a few years later as a completely new business. So make sure you check the developer and particularly their financial history. Check for construction completion guarantees, because again, that's something else. I personally know someone who should have moved into their new development last year, and they're saying it could be another 2 years. And then lastly, check what deposit protection arrangements there are. So if you're going to see a off-plan, just check what their tactics are. And if pressure is the main selling method, just step back. Okay, this one is probably self-explanatory, but again, I'm trying to protect you guys. And that is that online images may not always represent current property condition. Now, I know that this risk can exist in many countries, including here in Spain, but there are a few things that you can watch for or look for that will help to reduce any risk and time wasting. Now, the first one is wide angle photography distortion. This is a tactic that is used. The second one, and probably the best one, is look for outdated listing images. Now, if you're sitting in the UK now, looking at a property that you're interested in Spain, get hold of the real estate agent, get hold of the seller. Ask them to send you images with the date and time stamp on them so you know that that is the current condition of the property right now. And then the last one, this one isn't always obvious, but again, it's a tactic that I've seen myself, and that is furniture that's hiding damage, even structural damage. So always look out for that one. So I think in short, what I'm trying to say is never buy property from photos alone. Always visit the property yourself, and if you definitely can't do that, at the least send someone that you 100% trust to check it for you. Now, another thing to look out for here is when you're dealing with a real estate agent here in Spain, they'll do as much as they can to convince you that they're working on your behalf, but primarily they're working for the seller. It's the seller who's going to be paying them. Now, in the UK, typically real estate agents will earn a salary, they'll have their company car, maybe a company mobile phone, and then on top of that, they'll get a commission if they make a sale. Here in Spain, for the most part, agents only receive a commission. They're using their own car, their own phone, their own fuel. So they will do their best to assure you that everything is fine and they're working in your interest. So as I said earlier, be polite, but understand that they just want the sale. So make sure that you get your own independent legal advice and never solely trust what the real estate agent is telling you. Okay, so let's imagine you're looking at buying in an apartment or any property in an urbanisation. Make sure you're checking the community finances, because a lot of British buyers can go ahead with a purchase, buying with their heart and not their head. So make sure you ask, what are the monthly community fees? Because if you all of a sudden you make a purchase and you haven't worked out that the monthly community fees are €200-300, that's a significant amount that you're going to need to pay every single month that maybe you hadn't considered. Ask what the reserve funds are in the community fees. Is there a kitty of money left there for the upkeep of the building? Are there any future maintenance projects that are going to be going on? Also as well, make sure that you ask what the annual property tax is. Now this goes for any property you're buying, whether it's an apartment, a villa, a Spanish village house, whatever it is, but ask what the annual IBI is. That's the property tax that you'll pay every single year. Are there any waste service fees? Are there any possible non-resident taxes? All of these are questions that you need to ask for any property purchase that you're considering buying in Spain. Okay, and the last one is hidden usage or rental restrictions. Now, many UK buyers miss this one. Some properties have limitations on how they can be used. So before you lay out any money, check whether short-term tourist rentals are permitted. Long-term habitation is legally allowed. Local regulations, are there any that restrict rental activity? So a property may look perfect, but it may have lifestyle restrictions. So again, make sure you're finding out exactly what the usage of the property is before you put any money down. Okay, so to summarise, buying property in Spain as a UK buyer is, of course, completely achievable. Many people make it one of the best lifestyle decisions that they'll ever make in their lives, but there are points to remember. Spain is not the UK with sunshine. Legal systems are different, residency rules are different, and tax treatment is different. Most serious mistakes happen when people just assume familiarity. Now, if you're moving serious capital from Britain into Spain, slow the process down. Get independent legal advice. Understand residency first. Plan your currency transfers carefully and read every single document and make sure you understand it before signing. Spain works very well for careful buyers, but it works less well for people that are making rushed decisions. If you're thinking about relocating or buying property in Spain, remember this. This stage of life is all about freedom. It's not about financial surprises. So slow the process down and you'll end up finding your dream property here in Spain. Anyway, guys, I'm going to wrap up the video. But as always, if you've enjoyed this video, please remember to give it a like and a hype. And if you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button. It's absolutely free to do. It won't cost you a penny. But it really helps this channel to continue to grow. Anyway, enjoy whatever you're doing for the rest of the day and I'll catch you in the next one.